And hi, everybody out there. Welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the thanks button. So thank you all for coming out. I'll let everybody load. But if you're watching this on replay, and a lot of you do, last show on Monday nights for a little bit. I need to take a break. I've been doing this every week since training camp started. So, hey, Steve, thanks for calling. So I am taking off. Um, I'm not sure how many. At least a couple Mondays. I'll put up a note when I'm ready to come back. Combine's in a week. Is that what it is? Phew. I'll probably take a week off and then come back around March 4th. So thanks, everybody. I just need a week or so off. Otherwise it gets old after a while. Steve, I did get your order. Thank you so much for all of you out there. Presidential Pours, my latest book, my 10th book. But this one's about presidents and drinking. So if you, every president, every favorite drink, there's a few presidents that didn't drink, but other than that, and I talk about that too, and places they drank and some funny stories about them. And anyway, $15 total if you buy from me. You see at the beginning of the show, it says Rick Snider 99 at AOL and PayPal, and on Venmo, Richard-Snider-30. Make sure Snider's with an I. And you can get it. I'll mail it to you. It's $15 if you buy it on Amazon. If you buy it from me, I'll sign it and I'll throw in the shipping. So it's actually a better deal. So hopefully some of you will enjoy it. We've had a decent early opening sale of it. It's going to be on sale all year. It's a presidential year. There'll be, I expect there's a little election news coming up. But it's all about the favorite drinks of guys. I'll talk about it again a little bit later in the show. Steve was saying how much Kyle I drank for that picture in Mexico. Yeah. Let's see if I can put it up here for you guys. Kyle and I, we went to San Diego, and this is just a couple of days before 9/11. Trying to see if I have this thing. And so we went to Tijuana because we'd never been. And San Diego to Tijuana is, I don't know, maybe half an hour. So we went down there, and this kid who's like, I don't know, 10 years old comes up to us and says, "You want to get your picture with the burros or whatever?" It looks like a zebra because they paint stripes on them. I mean, I feel sorry for the animal. And this kid says to John, he goes, "You look like a movie star." And I laugh. I said, that kid, here's a picture. That kid's probably, this was like 25 years ago. So, yeah, here we are. So, this is John Keim and I from ESPN in 2001. Yeah, because literally we got back like a day and then 9/11 happened. So if you go to cover the Chargers game, go down across the border, hung out for a few hours, and came back. So I put it up the other day because somebody asked about it. It had like 25,000 views. All right. Have I seen some of the name suggestions? MTC. What do I think? Name suggestions is what? The team name versus anything new and unusual? Somebody asked me this a little while ago, like half hour ago, if I could change the name, what would I change it to? I change it back to the Redskins. And I tell the NFL to kiss my butt and talk to my lawyers. But I don't get to do that. And they're not getting ready to do it at all either. So, it's a moot point at this point. All right, Nick Flicks thinks the Commanders will be better than they were last year. Boy, I sure hope so. Otherwise, they got troubles in Capital City. I think, we'll see. There's a long ways to go before you can even take a bet. But I think it's got to get better because they cratered last year, lost the last 8 games or so. Oh, what a mess that was. All right, Wayne, missed the live show. I still want your last book. Talking about the Commanders book. You can get the Commanders book, same thing, same deal, $15, same PayPal. Venmo is the other book. Just write down, I want the Commanders book, and I can get that for you. So put this here again. If you want to buy the books, PayPal is, use my old AOL. Please don't send football questions to this. And Venmo, PayPal is owned by, Venmo is owned by PayPal. I don't know. I don't know why they have 2 types. Then again, Coca-Cola owns a lot of stuff and calls it different things. So either way, $15. And if you want the Commander's book, just write that out. I'll send you that too. Some people do. It's just rolling infomercial here. don't have a. Let's see. I guess since the last time I talked to you guys, we had the coordinators press conference. And hi, Netflix. So I got a chance to see Cliff Kingsbury and Joe Witt, just to kind of get a sense of what they were like. Joe Witt, you're going to like. Joe Witt basically says, listen, we all run 3-4s, 4-3s, whatever. It's whoever can kick the other guy's butt. That's going to win. And we're going to kick other people's butts. And we're going to go get the ball. And we're going to get turnovers. And we're going to be the last man standing. And I mean, EB talked tough like that too, but offense isn't like that. Offense isn't who's tougher, it's who's smarter. Defense is who's tougher. And I think Joe Witt, if he gets a good year out of these guys, I could see him being a head coach somewhere. He sounds the part. Sounded really good. Kingsbury reminded me of a guy who's really smart. So now my question is, are you smart enough not to get in your own way? Because lots of coaches do. Lots of coaches do. I just think of Spurrier, was one. Shanahan was one, the older Shanahan. A bunch of them. They try to outsmart each other. They play too many mind games. Listen, go do what you go do best. And if they stop you, they stop you. But don't beat yourself. And lots of coaches beat themselves. So we'll see what Kingsbury does on that level. But I saw a very smart guy, if nothing else. And he said, listen, we're not really running the air raid in the pros because you can't do it in the pros like you can do it in college. You get more mismatches, especially against secondary. You can't do that in pros because everybody's faster. But, they're still going to have their share of three wides, maybe 4, maybe 5 occasionally. But he expects to have more of a balanced run pass. Now, everybody says this. You got to do what you got to do. And, by the way, defense, don't spot the other team a 20-point lead. What's the offense supposed to do now? They can't run the ball when you're down 20-0. So that was my initial thoughts on those guys. Did meet this week. The assistant coaches, the positional coaches are available. This team has, with Quinn, including Quinn and a couple of support people, they have 25 people on the staff. I remember it was like 8, maybe, and it's now 25. Spending some money on coaches. They got some good ones. And they also got coaches from widely different trees by design. They didn't want to have everybody come from Dallas or everybody come from wherever, the Commanders, kind of thing. They wanted different opinions. They wanted different people from around the league who had done well. And smart thinking. I think now the question is, you got to mesh. Well, got 6 months still game. They can have time there. Mike H is going to buy Presidential Pours. Great for those of you who just missed coming in late. It's my latest book on presidents and drinking. It's a fun, quick read. You're not going to learn everything about everything. It's just a fun, quick read. It's got pictures of a president and story about him, what he likes to read, that kind of stuff. Some recipes, places they drank. All the first ladies, what they drank, of the first ladies who did drink. So it's $15. You can see it there. I've got it up on how you can get it, and I'll mail it to you myself. All right, I got a whole bunch of I got a stack of 20 right behind my screen here going out tomorrow. And I try to mail them every day. So you don't have to wait long for them. DJ wants to go Harrison and put a second to Fields. That would be the dream scenario. If you ask me my opinion, yes. Go get Fields with your second, then draft Harrison with your number 2, or trade it down. If you could trade it to maybe, 4 or 5, 6, somewhere in there, then maybe get that. But otherwise, take Harrison. There's nothing wrong taking an ace receiver, hopefully. So I would do that. Netflix, what do you think of the other new coach, Brian Johnson from the Eagles? I don't have any real opinion on him at this point. Sorry, just not yet. Skin me alive? Skin the my alive, whatever it is. Okay, anyway, we don't have any linebackers to talk about. DBs are horrible. No DNs. Yes, I know. There's a little problem there with that. Missing a few people. I mean, I expect 30 new players on this team this year. So Ken Norton Jr. is the linebackers coach. I remember his father is a heavyweight champion. That guy could fight too. So I expect the son's a pretty good one like that too. He was a good NFL player himself. Can the Commanders make more cap space? Not really, Outlong King. I was looking at it. They got plenty. I mean, they came out today talking about what the cap might be, and it might be even $5 million more than they think. This team's got all the cap room it needs to do things. Nick Flick hopes he can do better against the Giants. Yeah, it's really been a bummer. The Giants suck, and they've still beat this team a couple of times, yearly. And, that's a big problem. You got to win your division games. Dwayne, should they be interested in Saquon Barkley if he becomes a free agent? Tell me what the money is. As long as it's not insane, sure, why not? Can they restructure deals? Sure. But there's not a lot there, Dwayne, that they're really looking to do on there. I mean, there's a lot of free agents, like 25 free agents on this team. So, I knew this was coming, George. You want to cut Leno, but there's a lot of dead money to do that. Not so much for Logan Thomas, but I expect him to get a new tight end as a main guy. I don't think I'm doing videos now about tough calls. They're going at 6 a.m. and around 5 p.m. every day. And I've got some coming up. Matter of fact, tomorrow is Gibson, what I think about him. And then I did one on offensive line. Some of the guys there, Lucas, Larson, Charles are all free agents. Defensive ends, they got no defensive ends. And Smith, Williams, and Tuhill both cost $1 million last year. And they're free agents. You got to get at least one of those guys back. Linebackers, they got 3 free agents: Barton, Hudson, Mayo. Mayo, wouldn't worry about. Hudson was $1.5 million last year. I could go for that more or less. Barton was $3.5 million. I think they got their money's worth out of him overall on there. I just have one up right now on Jacoby Brissett. That kind of, unfortunately, you don't know the answer to this when you got to make it. Free agency starts March 13th officially. And what are they going to do as a quarterback? I mean, if they draft a quarterback, then I don't know if you keep Brissett. You should, but I don't think they will. If you don't, then you definitely would like him. But you got to make this decision like 5 weeks before the other decision. So I think Jacoby's going to want to try and go play somewhere else. So I don't expect to see him back. George, that's Leno. Yeah, okay. Netflix, I think the Commanders will keep Deron Payne. Oh, absolutely. There's too much dead money there, if nothing else. You need difference maker on the team, not fillers. Absolutely, but you need both. I mean, you need difference makers on your first line, and you need decent backups on your second. Because with injuries, you're going to need them. I mean, last year was the first year they didn't go 3 deep in quarterbacks or more. So you do need – it takes a village to win or lose in the NFL. Outlaw King, I hear the Jets might be interested in trading for Sam. If they draft in the first round and if they could keep Brissett, I would trade Sam, sure. What would you get? Well, he was a 5th. NFL is a funny place about draft picks. I think most people would want to say, I'll give you a 4th or whatever. I think at least a 3. I wouldn't trade Sam for less than a 3. John James loves, they got some coaches from the NFC East. Yeah, got a bunch from Dallas Giants, somebody from the Eagles. So they got a little bit of that. That's not a bad thing. What do I think of KJ Henry? Skim Me Alive. I know it's Skim Me Alive. Yeah. I thought he had a decent season at the end. I thought he came along. It was just so at the beginning, first half or so of the season. But the last month or so, I thought he showed a lot of improvement. So that's what you hope carries into this year on all of that. On there. Wow, we're already 15 minutes in. So at 15 minutes after the hour, I always beg for money. If you see the $sign below me, that's the thanks button. And that's saying, hey, Rick, I know you had a long day today and you didn't have to talk to us, but you did for an hour. Matter of fact, I got all my grandkids just getting ready to leave now because they were over for dinner. So, hey, Grandpa's got to go on YouTube. They think it's cool. But this is why I do it, trying to make a buck. So buy the book or kick in on the dollar thing. Definitely hit the thumbs up button for me. That costs you nothing. How do I feel about the defensive backfield? Never give up. I don't expect him to keep Curl. Fuller, depends on what the money is. Fuller quietly had a decent year overall. Wasn't a great year, but it was a decent year in the 4th year of his deal. See what you can get. I'd tell him, listen, go shop the market, see what you find. But if you do that, players don't like to come back. Would Jacoby ever make the Hall of Fame, DJ? Well, Jacoby Brissett. Oh, no, Joe Jacoby. Okay. Yes, I think Joe Jacoby will be in the Hall of Fame within 5 years. I think it'll finally shake itself out. If you went for a linebacker in free agency, who would you recommend? Skim Alive. I don't have the answer to that yet. I'll wait a little longer. I'm just starting to get into all that now. we do have other things to do. And some stuff that's in the distance, I don't get to it as quickly because I got other things to deal with on there. But overall, I'm just glad they finally got the coaching staff in place. I think that went pretty well. They're still in Kingsbury the other day. They're still self-scouting their own people, trying to decide about who you want to keep in free agency, who's going to fit with this new offense, those kind of things. Once you get that, they all get together again, and then they start looking at the free agents. But that's more of the front office. But the coaches get at least, they get briefed on it. They don't get to pick anything, but they get to give some opinions. And then they'll concentrate on the draft. One thing at a time. Okay. Netflix. It could be Sam Howell would be a free agent in Washington, trade for him, or should they just let him be a backup? I keep him. I mean, his cap number is nothing, and he's got some experience now, and he could come in. I don't have a big problem with Sam Howell. Dizzy, do you think Fannie Willis should be disqualified for the affair with prosecutor? No, I got no opinion on that, man. Not on this show. Even then, I don't have any opinion on that. DJ, can a legit case be made for? No, he didn't finish the sentence. DJ. CM, what are your odds you cover a Commanders playoff game before you retire? 50-50, probably, because, I don't know how long I got, but I'll say 50-50. But if they get to the playoffs, would I walk away happy then? No, it's not about that. I do this for a living. Never give up. I don't have to. I'm kind of at retirement age. I could walk away. I have some other things I'm starting to do, and have other paths I want to go. And you don't know how many years you have left when you're in your 60s. Could have 20, could have 1. So I've done my time here. But I'll be 46 years as a sports writer in town, for those of you who don't know me. Covered everything, been everywhere, done everything. So it's been a good career. And I'm just kind of, I don't know, taking it year to year. Let's see. Never give up, wants to keep Hal. I agree with that. Can a case be made for Theismann and Dexter for Hall of Fame, DJ? If Dexter hadn't, screwed up at the end of his career and lost some time, I think he would have had a shot. He certainly was the sack leader. I know Kerrigan now has the record, but it's a BS record because they won't count Dexter's first year on sacks because the NFL didn't count him then. And Dexter would be ahead of Ryan. And I have nothing against Ryan. It's just what it is. Theismann, it's just a notch below, but he won a Super Bowl. He lost a Super Bowl. He won 85 games as a Redskin quarterback. That's the most of any Redskin quarterback. Durable is all until he broke the leg. I think Theismann has been underrated in his career. I think he should be given more respect. Also had a hell of a restaurant. And he still has one of them. And if you go to Theismann's restaurant in Alexandria, be prepared for big meat. And that guy's steaks are huge. Not that I get them for free. All right, Mike, baseball starting this week. Yeah, buddy. Are they still in the Nationals? No. They came out that the learners have said we're not going to sell the Commanders. We've known this for a while. Really? Then why didn't you spend one dime in free agency and try and get this team back on track instead of sucking all the money out? I got a column coming up about that. It's pretty annoying. The learners have just sucked this team dry since that last World Series, and they just gave up and collapsed it, thinking, well, we'll sell it. Well, they're not. So I need to see some money on the table and get some players back in here, or fans are right to say screw it and not come. Same thing goes for the Wiz. The Wiz tried. The Wiz shuffled deck chairs on the Titanic more than anybody I know, but they can't ever come up with anything. There are plans to upgrade Commanders Park, Tayon. I hear stories, but I don't see anything moving. And they've always claimed, well, we're going to sell. Well, that lie is now out. Now everybody hates Leonsis because of the Wiz, and he wants to move the arena to Alexandria. And now everybody's going to be on the learners for tanking this team and just cashing it out. Gosh, Dan Snider might not have been the most hated man in town if he had stayed. But Harris definitely gets a pass for a while. Never give up. The media loved Joe. Well, sure. Joe was great to us. Why wouldn't be great to him? Versus say a Jay Schrader never wanted to talk to us, or a Jeff George who was just flat out rude. You treat me nice, I'll treat you nice. It kind of works that way too. Dizzy, what are the odds to watch the Commanders playoff game in a new stadium on the hollow grounds of RFK? Well, I think I think they'll be back in RFK, and eventually they'll be back in the playoffs. Now, what year? I don't know. If they were smart, they would really gear this team toward being good when that new stadium opens. Because wait till you see the prices in that baby. I mean, I've heard nothing official from anybody, but you spend a couple billion on a stadium, prices are going to go up. So it's going to be crazy. Never give up. Thoughts on Lefty? Well, Lefty Driesell died, what was it, Sunday? Today's Monday. So or it's either Sunday or Saturday. I loved Lefty. I covered him some, watched him a lot since I was a kid. He was 92 when he passed away. I think I talked to him maybe a year ago. He was just fun. Lefty was fun, knew how to be a showman, got people interested. He did the first Midnight Madness where they put cars around the outdoor track. They ran 1 mile and called it a night. Never even bounced the basketball. That was the start of Midnight Madness as we know it. He would always fight with the Carolina people and say, hey, when I win the ACC tournament, I'm going to mount that trophy on my car hood and honk my horn all over North Carolina, which is a funny line. He did the V for victory, coming out and stuff like that. I mean, Lefty knew how to draw a crowd, man. He was a funny guy and it was a great recruiter. Game coach, not as much, but he was a great recruiter. If you could put Gary Williams and Lefty Driesell together, you'd have John Wooden, both of them. I mean, Lefty even got Moses Malone to come to campus for a whole day before Moses went to the ABA and made millions, but he actually got him for a day. He had a lot of he had 7 first-round draft picks. He had a great teams, and I thought he got screwed being forced out when Len Bias died. He didn't have anything to do with a lot of that. But everybody was woke and wanted blood. Netflix, Andy Reid looks kind of like me. Yeah, a little bit. He looks like me, not me look like him. Although he's older, so I guess I could say that. All right, Wayne, I'm the best. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, yeah, he understands. And everybody lasts forever, man. Can't do this forever, especially for free. And nobody's kicked in yet on the thanks button. So be nice. That's why I try to do this for you guys. But, you got to kick it back. Either buy a book or kick in some thanks money, or maybe Rick doesn't do this next season. Nobody else does this for you. I was in the end zone when Joey T broke his leg. Ooh, okay, Joe. Were you in the close end zone or the far end zone? But that was nasty. It was very much like now I can't remember his name. The quarterback a few years ago Alex Smith broke his ankle. Like same thing, kind of the same thing. Any chance we kick the tires on Bobby Wagner? Ooh, PG Cubano Abel? I don't see that happening. I don't know. Let's see. Jaden Daniels has the best base pocket footwork in the draft. If I don't want to see them take a quarterback in the first for that number 2 pick, because I don't see a generational quarterback in those number 3 guys. I just don't. I could be wrong, but chances are I'm not. And but if I had to take one, I would take Jaden Daniels over Caleb, over May. Hey, Nathan. Yeah, man, the funny part about May is I talked to a guy the other day I've known 40 years, covered his father. And he said, I was May's high school coach. I'm like, man, what a small world this is, huh? Okay, Alexander. Guys think Glenn Concert thinks Rick Pitino is the greatest college coach. I like Pitino a lot. I thought he was, I thought he was a great coach. There's no doubt of that. I got to hang out with him some in Kentucky. John Wooden is the greatest college coach, in my opinion. But Pitino could definitely be up there. Wayne's going to buy both books. Well, that's even better. I'll mail them together for you. So you can, 15 each. I'll sign them. And what time is it? 8:26. All right. So anyway, new book out. So if you do want to buy it, it's got, I put it up at the beginning of the show and during the show where you can get it, PayPal, Venmo. You can get it at Amazon if you want. I just make more money when you buy it from me. But it's about all the presidents, all the drinks, all the stuff they do. Everybody who is that? Herbert Hoover. Herbert Hoover was the president during Prohibition. But to get around it, he'd visit the embassies around the White House at happy hour because embassies are considered foreign soil. So it's not against the law. They could drink. So he'd go drink with them. That's just one of the stories in the book. George Washington, what a rager. That dude could drink. George Washington could drink seriously. And then John Adams, second president, would start every morning at 5 a.m. with a shot. He started drinking at 16. He started smoking, I think, at 9. And he lived to his 90s. So go figure. Jefferson about went broke, spending so much money on wine. Are my books on Amazon? Yeah, Alexander, they're there. So you can get presidential pours from Amazon if you like. And also the 100 Things Commanders fans know and do before they die. Let me get one so you can see it. Hold on. Here's the other one. I only have about 20 of these left. So there it goes. And this is 100 short stories about the team. And I did the Redskins version first. The Redskins version's gone. There's none left. They even declared it out of print, which I disagreed with, but publisher had the final say. I think it's like $18 normally, so I'll sell it to you for $15 and throw in shipping. What more can you ask for than that? Buying both, I'll mail them both together. But it's got 100, and I redid it 2 years ago, and they changed the name. We put in some new stories, updated the book, so it didn't get old. So you can get either one. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Buy them both. What the hell? Give you something to do. So appreciate that. Thank you, Steve, for kicking in. See, Steve shows you how to do it. LimeWire, yes, I got your order, and it's being mailed tomorrow on there. Did I see Oppenheimer, Alexander? No, I didn't. Heard it was good, but I saw a Barbie movie instead. So I wanted to see the Barbie movie, my wife and I, just because we're kids of the 60s, so we remember Barbie. And it was funny. It was funny just to see it one time. But Oppenheimer is getting ready to be on one of the streaming platforms. Forget which one. I saw it coming soon. So I'll watch it then. All right, Weed Stars, how you doing? Thanks for coming. Who is the biggest drinker of them all? Grant? No, never give up. Grant, that's a misnomer because Grant was a real drunk as a young officer away from home and all. But by the time he got to be general, he really slowed down the drinking. And when he became president, he barely drank because he knew the political realities of everybody calling him a drunk. So he was really not. Franklin Pierce was considered the biggest drunk president, always drunk. And he died of cirrhosis of the liver. So there's your guy who's really drinking a lot. Do I autograph the books? Yes, I do. If you buy them from me, Dwayne, not Amazon, but buy them from me, I will. Because Amazon, I don't have any way of doing it. Weed Stars. Let's see. Got some good news today. Hit 4430 subs. Wow. Okay, you're doing great. Kenny Stewart, I bought a few of the Redskins version directly from me. Okay, and I appreciate that, Kenny. Kevin, from North Carolina. That was where my dad was from, Gastonia. So I'm glad you enjoy it. My dad was from Gastonia, North Carolina, as he would call it. And I have lots of family in the Charlotte type of area. All the way to Hickory. Man, Hickory's in the middle of nowhere. I used to think Gastonia was nowhere. Growing up in the 60s, I'd visit my family down there. You wander around. They all worked for the factories mostly then. And track housing kind of thing. And you go, where's the bathroom? He goes, it's outside. I'm like, what do you mean it's outside? Yeah, it really was outside. So I remember now Gastonia is like a suburb of Charlotte. So different. Mike, let's see. First Redskin game in 37 was played. Yep, and Frederick. It was an exhibition game that they played up there. Flying Turtle. How do you feel about Joe Witt's press conference? I thought he came strong. He basically said, and I agree with this, football is a warrior sport. Yeah, you can draw your X's and O's in the sand all you want. But at the end of the day, you better hit somebody or you don't win. I sound like Doc Walker on this, but, it's true. I mean, you got to have great players and you got to have smart people and all these things. But you got to have a baseline of tough guys. Gibbs had a lot of tough guys on there. People didn't always realize it. Dexter, Butts, Jacoby, all the Hogs. They just wanted to kick your butt. And it worked. Let's see. Anybody see Obama's Leave the World from Behind? I have no idea what that is. I don't do politics on this show because you would disagree with me probably. any of you. No matter which guy I said, half of you would hate it. And I live in Washington, and we kind of learned to mind your own business about these things because you got to live with it every day in D.C. With politics, you can't get hung up on it, or you'll be fighting about it every day. And at the end of the day, you vote for who you want, wish them whoever wins well, and we go about our lives. So I do a lot of tour guiding in town too. If you're coming to Washington, you want to hire me as a tour guide, you can go to monumentalthoughts.com. The book is there. You can order the book from there, or you can read my travel blog that I write all the time there too. So been a tour guide for 14 years. Kind of slowing down on that a little bit too. Getting old. What is a generational quarterback, in my opinion, Justin? To me, it's a guy that you think, one, is going to be here. Well, you can never tell how long somebody will be here, but it has the potential to be here for like good 10 years, being a top 5 passer most of those years. The generationals, the greats. Not just a guy that's hit and miss and in and out. And, he's got to be one of the elite people. And I don't see it this year. Maybe May. If I had to throw it, maybe May. But I like Daniels. Caleb, I just don't see it. I watched a lot of film last week with these guys to make sure I was right. I just don't get it. I don't think Caleb has Aaron Rodgers' potential, Alexander. I just don't see it. And I could turn it down. Hey, they turned it down when they didn't go to Justin Herbert, and they went with Chase, and that blew up in their face. You take your best shot and see what happens. Kevin, he's an hour from Hickory. Yeah, worked in the furniture factories. I had family there too. So, okay, I know where you are. That's a long ways out, brother. A long ways out. I used to think Winston-Salem was far when I had to cover games at Wake Forest, but Hickory's another 45 minutes. You're another hour past that. Whew. Gus Bus. Josh Rosen was the second coming of Aaron Rodgers, and look how he turned out. Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, everybody every year builds up these quarterbacks, and then, bang, who's the best? You just don't. You see a lot of bust on there. LimeWire, did a coach ever get mad at me personally? I had a few discussions outside of people, and you know what? I didn't have a problem with it if you came to me as a man and said, "Here's my problem," and I can say, "Well, here's what I'm thinking." And usually we could work it out. The guys who said, "Hey, man, I hated what you wrote today." Yeah, what part? Well, I didn't read it. Someone told me about it. Go blow. You go read the story first. And if you're still mad, then come see me. But I'm not going to debate someone that hasn't read it. So, I mean, you have to have thick skin doing this stuff. You can't kiss everybody's butt. You got to do what you got to do. You write what you think is the fair, honest thing that you're thinking of. That's all you can do. Steve, favorite museum that isn't in D.C.? Ooh, okay. I don't know. That's an interesting thing. Trying to think. I don't go to a lot of museums around the country much. So I did go to the art museum in Philly. Was kind of cool because they had the Rocky Steps there. So we ran the Rocky Steps like in the movie. And then my kid said, "You want to go in and see the art gallery?" And I thought, "Oh, what the hell? We're already here. Why not?" That was cool. My favorite one in D.C. would be the American History, but there's a lot of good ones on there. The Air and Space is really awesome too. When you come to Washington, go see the Air and Space. That's a really great one. The Bible Museum's a good one too. Okay. Kevin agrees with me about Caleb. I mean, we'll all see in a year or two who's right or wrong. Where do I think Chase will wind up? Flying Turtle? I don't know. Because he's going to have to he's going to take a contract that's a 1-year show me. And he's not going to want to do it, but he's going to have to because he didn't show anybody anything since he's, last couple of years. A lot of generational quarterbacks come out. Every team would have them by now. Yeah, I know. Beloved Chamber. That's the thing. Love chatter. Yeah. Spurrier. Yeah. The Spy Museum, Mike. I haven't been in it since they redid it and moved it across town. I hear good things about it. I've seen the exhibit list. It looks a lot better than the old one. The old one I thought was boring, but some people loved it. Well, the new one's got a lot of new cool stuff in it, so I think it's probably worth a visit. Was Heath Schuler touted as generational, PG Cabano? Oh, gosh, it's hard to remember if that was true, but I know the Tennessee coaches lied their butts off to the Redskin coaches to say, Oh, he's great. He's going to be great because they wanted a quarterback taken top 5 so they could use that for recruiting. That's why you can't believe a word college coaches say about this. Deluxe, ever been to the Walter Reed one? No, I have heard about it. There's a military medical museum at Walter Reed Hospital on the edge of D.C. Among the things there is like, one general's arm, the spinal column of presidential assassin John Wilkes Booth. When he was shot and captured, he was paralyzed by the shot. That's my distant cousin. So I know that's in there. I mean, they have a lot of weird stuff, man. I think I'd have nightmares going to see that. I never give up, but I take a QB with the second pick. Better be a damn good one, and I haven't seen one this year. And, over the last 20 years, when quarterbacks been taken 1 and 2, half of them have worked out and half haven't. And it's not always the number 1 who works out. So, that's the danger of all this. You can't talk yourself into seeing something that isn't there, but coaches will all the time. And what they don't like, they go, I can fix that. No, they can't either, And they ask the wrong questions at things like the combine. They need to hire people like me. I'm used to asking questions. Coaches are used to being answering questions. That's a different thing. They don't know how to really get to the heart of the matter because they don't really want to know the truth. That's the bottom line. Teams lose games because they screw up more than they win games because they're good. Kenny, Heath was all the talk. Well, he did have a great college career. But, yeah. Mike, let's see. I guess he, in training camp, Farrat was better than Schuler. Well, I was there. He did better, but he was also facing third stringers back then in camp. Best pizza place in D.C., Jordan. Depends on what you like. I like Pizza Paradiso. There's a couple places, Georgetown and DuPont Circle are good. That might be my new favorite because a place I really like named Pies on F Street closed a few months ago. And trying to think. I was at one in McLean recently, Rocco's. It's decent, but that's outside the city on there. Let's see. Kevin, what scares me a little bit, Chicago may not like Caleb first. They may take Mayor Daniels. Well, let them, and then you can trade Caleb to somebody that's a sucker, and it'll pay you more for him. CNO, do I miss the old days of Larry Brown and Chris Hamburger and Ken Houston? Yeah, because I was 9 years old or 12. Things like that. I was a kid. I didn't start watching until 1969, so I was at least 9 years old. And they were good. It was interesting, although I was more of a baseball guy than that. And then the Senators left, and we didn't have anything else to watch but the Redskins. PG has a "In Gus We Trust" t-shirt. There you go. Hold on to that. Might be worth $1 one day. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. I'm not getting too much here. I see in thanks money tonight. So that's why I'm taking next week off. Just next week off. Week after I'll come back and talk about the combine. But I need a week off. I think I did 25 to 26 weeks, something like that. Tired. Need to just gel out a little bit. Let's see. Ebad. Do you think John Allen is no longer a foregone conclusion trading him? Yeah, I don't see that happening. John Allen, they've talked to John Allen. I think things are cool. Don't expect it. Sina, you're in Sydney, Australia. Gosh, what time is it there? I know when I went to Japan, it was 16 hours ahead. Could never keep track of what was going on. But thank you so much for watching halfway across the world. It's probably middle of the afternoon there now. Yeah, I'm thinking about going to Australia, but I don't think it'll be this year. Maybe next year. Kevin, to cover Wake Forest? Well, I covered Maryland. So when Maryland played Wake Forest, I was down there several different years in my life. Last time was 04, 05. Yeah, 05 was the last time I was at Wake. Nice little place. I used to eat at the barbecue place just literally down the street from the arena on there. In fact, when we would go to Wake Forest, I used to take other reporters with me, and they tended to be Northerners. So we'd go to that whatever that place is called. It's literally 100 yards from the arena. And I would be the interpreter because I could speak Southern. and they're Yankees, so they couldn't. And so I have to order. And so I ordered hush puppies for the table. They bring them out. And the two guys from up north are like, "What is this?" I said, "It's hush puppies. Eat them." They go, and one of them tries. He goes, "Oh, this is good, but this can't be good for you." I'm like, "Dude, this is called Southern cooking. None of it's good for you." So just eat your hush puppies and be quiet. Oh, that was an amazing time. Any good Lefty stories? Yeah, hit the thanks button. I'll tell a couple, Kenny. I liked Lefty a lot. Lefty and my father were almost carbon copies of each other, even down to the looks and the accent. So I like that too. My dad's been gone 35 years, but I liked Lefty. Yeah, he won. They won like 2/3 of their games, I think it was. I saw the stat. So Steve saw a great video about Sonny, Billy, and Joe. Yeah, I think I saw some of that too recently. I mean, they were good quarterbacks. And they haven't had a trio like that in a long time. Do I think they re-signed Curl, SPG? No, don't think so. I think go look for more money elsewhere. Can it fix Forbes? We'll see. No idea what this is. Mike, I wish they still had Tobacco Road in the old ACC. With you there, 1,000%. But the old ACC is gone, so I guess Maryland should is okay in the Big Ten. My problem with Maryland playing in the Big Ten, and I've talked to my friends about this, when they're in the ACC, well, if living here in Maryland, everybody's got family in the Carolinas or whatever, or down south, because DC brings a lot of people here for jobs. So you could razz your cousins from Carolina. I'd call them up. Yeah, we got you. It was personal. It was fun. Iowa, Michigan, Nebraska, I don't know anybody who lives there. So you can't sit there, "Oh, I hope they beat Iowa. I hate those guys." I don't hate those guys. I don't know any of those guys. It just feels like a different world. So that's what makes it impersonal. And this year's Maryland team is a bust. What a mess they are. The greatest Maryland basketball team, never give up. Well, I mean, you have to say the national championship team of 2002. But that team in 73 that they lost to NC State, the 103-100 ACC championship, and then NC State won the national title. And Maryland back then, they didn't have at-large teams. Maryland could have maybe won that game in the national championship. That was a great team. That was McMillan, Elmore, Lucas, players. That was a great team too. They won the NIT, I think it was. Yeah, Southern food, man, Jordan. My mom fried everything, fried everything. Nothing was healthy back then. Now I don't really eat fried anything hardly anymore. Got to keep my health together. So had a stomach ailment with food poisoning and stomach bacteria, and it's still bothering me. It's been 3 months, but I'll get better. It's nothing going to kill me. New stadium location rumors. That's right. Well, Josh Harris said they had a place in Virginia they were looking at. I think it's got to be Loudoun County. Better not be, Dumfries or whatever. That was just crazy talk. Loudoun down in way down there. No, it's got to be. Maybe they have something, but I don't see Virginia doing it. I mean, look at Leonsis. He can't get money for an arena. You think they're going to kick in money for a football stadium? I didn't know this, but the woman Lucas, who runs the Senate Finance Committee in Richmond under the State House, is 80 years old. Tough woman. And she wants concessions before she'll crack any money open for a new arena. And she said to him, "Do I look like I have dumbass written across my forehead?" I thought, wow, this is not a woman to be trifled with. I just say, Ted Leon just wants a stadium and an arena in Virginia. He's got to deal with her. Go find out what she wants, because you're not getting it otherwise. She's 80 and she's tough. You're not gonna beat her. Let's see. Jordan, been to 4 UVA basketball games this year. Wow. Okay. Well, UVA plays good ball. I've watched some of it, but I haven't been able to watch as much as I would like. Do I ever exercise to keep healthy? Never give up. Well, I do walk a lot, especially on a tour guide. So I'll average 10,000 steps a day. And tour guiding, I'll do 15, 18,000 steps, which is about 8-9 miles. So biggest thing. And I got a bike that I ride a bit. So that's my biggest stuff. It's a winter now. It's a little harder to be outside. I do a lot of work, different things. But thanks for worrying about me. ACC tournaments in DC this year. That's right. And DC is not going to put a team in the NCAA tournament because there's nobody in town winning. So we're going to be shut out of the ACC. Mike H., thank you so much for kicking it on. Any stories on Michael Jordan or Ralph Sampson? Well, I didn't really cover them so much, but I mean, Ralph was awesome. Yeah, man, that dude was just forever. Michael Jordan, the old joke is, who's the last man to hold Michael Jordan under 20 points a game? Dean Smith, his coach. But they won titles, so I thought Lenny was every bit as good as Jordan. Now in the pros, who knows what happens? But Lenny, it's just a shame Lenny died like he did. Do I have a website for my tours? Yes, Jordan. It's called monumentalthoughts.com. You can find me there. And you also can order the books there. So not the Commander's book, but either one. You go to Presidential Pours, my new drinking book, President's Drinking. If you want to go on tour, we can go around drinking, I guess. I'm a lightweight, so much for that anymore. But you can also get the Commander's book. A lot of people watch the show on replay. Most people watch 10 to 15 minutes of the hour. So a lot of people come back. It's why if you hung in there all day, the whole show, you're thinking he's doing it again. Mostly because it's new people. So this is I do this for 15. It's 17 on Amazon. But I'll do it 15, include shipping. Same thing for Pours, which is also 15 on Amazon. I sign them. It's the only place I'll sign them because it's the only time I got them in my hands. I don't have Amazon books in my hands. Do I think Cooley can get the Hoyas turned around, Kenny? Well, as a Maryland grad, I don't care what happens to Georgetown, quite frankly. Don't hate them. Just don't worry about them. Good hospital if you need a medical, good hospital. Who do you think we're going to draft, James? I have no idea. I have no idea. They don't have any idea, so I can't either. I'd just be making something up. Bro Crew, thanks for coming by. Kevin, came to Washington 7 years ago for a game, several years ago. I wish you did tours. Well, next time. A lot of fans come in a day early, see the sites in D.C. I can take you around. I do a lot of different theme tours, not just the Lincoln Memorial. So have some fun, go see some different stuff. So Monumental Thoughts is where my tours are. And there's a section to read about them. Let's see. I just get to hop in for about 30 minutes during lunch, so thanks. Oh, okay, Jordan. What time is it where you are if it's lunch? That would be 8 hours back. So what are you in, Hawaii or something? I mean, or maybe it's Australia. I don't know. What do I think of Mark Turgeon, the old basketball coach? Okay, never give up. There's when I talked about somebody who was smart, who couldn't get out of his own head and couldn't get out of his own way. That was Mark Turgeon. Good recruiter, but didn't have the self-confidence. It was just so unusual for a coach. But that does happen on there. Oh, you're working night shift. Okay, Jordan. So, yeah, poor guy. Couldn't work night shifts too much. James, what do you think about Jaden Daniels? Of the top three, I would take Jaden Daniels. I think he fits them better, but I don't know if we'll see it. Are there water tours in D.C., Mike? There are a couple. They're in Alexandria and in the Washington Harbor area, which is by Georgetown. There are boat tours out of there. I don't do them, but I've been on them. They're usually like an hour or so up and down the river. And they're cool. Something to see. I recommend them. Kenny, I said this on the last chat. Oh, you went on tour with me, and it was great. Okay. Thanks. All right, Steve, did you see Apple is doing a mini-series in the Hunt for John Wilkes Booth? I heard about it. Starts in April. A friend of mine, I'm a Booth expert because we are related cousins. But there's another young man I know. He's about 30 now, Dave. He even does John Wilkes Booth reenactments. I mean, he's so into it. He knows so much. Well, he showed a 2-minute clip or about John Wilkes Booth in the movie coming out and picked it apart. And I thought, oh my God, things that don't have to be wrong, but they Hollywood stuff up for movies. And so they just rub the margins and don't think anybody will care. And Dave ripped them apart. So, that's the hard part of this is When you're so into it, you know the truth. You can't enjoy it as much. Wayne, thank you so much for buying a couple books. Let's see if I got it in here. I don't know if did you do Amazon or did you do me? I haven't got it yet, but that doesn't mean it won't come in a minute. Let's see. Bro Crew. Do I still like Sam Howell? Yeah. Would I trade our number 2 and get more picks to build around Sam? Yeah, I would like to see that. But you do have to have, I mean, that's if Kingsbury really thinks he can work with Sam. If he doesn't, then I wouldn't do it. But I think that's the best way to go. You get more. Let's just hope that the GM knows what he's doing. Patrick, going to see a comedian on Thursday night at Capitol Arena. Is there anywhere good to grab dinner before? Near Chinatown. Well, in Chinatown, there is Tony Chang's, which is just around the block. Tony Chang's has good Chinese food. Clyde's is literally next to the arena. And that's a good, steakhouse more than anything. Clyde's is really good. Across the street is Legal Seafood. That's a good place. A little pricey. But I like Clyde's a lot. And Tony, if you want Chinese, go to Tony Chang's. It's 1 block north. And they do a good job there too. Oh, Jason's followed me for years. Well, at least you're not one of those fat old bald guys that said they've been reading me since they were a kid. Those guys freak me out. Yeah, the strokes were scary, but it wasn't a stroke in the end. We thought I had a stroke 2 years ago, and it turned out a disc in my back made my right side go numb. It hasn't happened since. I do a lot of stretching most days to try and strengthen my spinal disc area to keep that from happening. And I have lost, since that thing happened, almost 50 pounds. So yeah, I've lost some weight. Try every day. You just do the best you can, and overall, I'm doing fine. I'm getting old, and so there's always aches and pains. When you get old, there's always aches and pains. Sucks. Don't get old. All right. For one game, who would I take out of Theismann, Rippon, and Johnson, Trent Green? Theismann. Oh, that's not even close. I mean, Theismann would be my first 4 on that list. Then and I'd probably go Brad Johnson. And I would probably go Rip or Trent Green. That's a tough one. Wayne, okay, did it through PayPal. PayPal's being slow on me, I guess. And they usually send me an email, but they might. It's probably just taking sweet time. That's PayPal for you. It'll show up. If it doesn't, I'll come back, but I'm sure it will. Okay. Would the Bears go for a trade? John Allen for Fields. I think you have to give him something extra just because that's a quarterback versus a D-line. But maybe not. They traded, quarterback Jay Schrader. I think it was straight up for Jim Lachey. So maybe. I don't know what a points chart would be on that thing. That's one thing I liked about Witt. It's like, screw analytics. There you go. Analytics doesn't add up the punching power of beating somebody's butt, So I'm not an analytics guy as far as sports. I am an analytics guy as far as running my businesses. Am I in on Fields? I would take Fields. Never give up. I don't have a problem with Fields. I think he's got his best football in front of him. You've got an OC here who's a great quarterback whisperer. He's worked with a lot of great quarterbacks in colleges and all. Mahomes, Mayfield, Johnny Manziel, who flamed out. Wasn't for lack of talent as much on Manziel, but so he's done that. Rippon did do a 7-step drop really nice, Mike, but he had time. He got sacked 7 times 1 year. 7 times 1 year. Sam had that happen in the first half sometimes. So it's a lot easier to do that. I like Trent Green. I thought he really was a sharp passer on a decent team, and they lost him to free agency because the team was in transition of being sold, and the board of directors didn't want to sign anybody to any real money. That's why they lost Trent Green. All right, last few minutes. If you're watching on replay, or I'd say if you came in late and you want to see the beginning of the show, it's on replay on YouTube in just a few minutes when I end it. they'll flip it back and you can watch the beginning or wherever you want to watch on there. For those of you, if you want to get the 100 Things Commander, some of you have asked, $15, go to PayPal or Venmo. I put in my names and stuff here for that, or you can buy it and you can buy both of them. Presidential Pours, which is my new book out on presidents and drinking. It's kind of a fun, easy, quick read. It only has a page or so about most people. It's not meant to be a long toast. You want a quick toast so you can have a drink, but it does talk about their favorite drinks and stuff like that. So it's got some funny parts in it, I think. And it's not meant to, it's one of those things you can just read at will and scatter and read throughout however you want. Is it my last book? I don't know. I got a play that I'm working on right now. The play's done. We're going to do a live table read with some people for the parts. It'll be here on YouTube. You can see it. Will it ever become a real play? I don't know. We'll see. These things aren't easy to create. But I'm working on that. I gave my first sermon at a church recently. They asked me to preach, and I've been asked to come back. But now I'm not a preacher, but I'll come back and give the sermons here and there. I do what God tells me to do. And so anyway, that's basically it. I'll do the last couple questions and we'll get out of here. What's my favorite sports book I've ever read? I'm so bad about things like that, man. I just, my mind anymore just doesn't let me think that way. When people ask who's my favorite, this or that, I just don't think of it that way. Maybe it's 100 things now. I'm kidding. But I don't remember offhand. Caveman cooking book? Well, yeah, Mike's there. I wrote Secrets of Caveman Cooking. That's on Amazon. I don't have any anymore, but they sell it still. Outdoor grilling. Ball 4 was a good book. Yeah, it's one of those things that people ask me about. I say, give me a list. I'll tell you which I liked. Ball 4 was good. Kevin, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we got a minute to go. Michael, if you want to get Secrets of Caveman Cooking, you can get it off of Amazon. I think they have used copies they sell. That was 20 years ago. So I don't have any of that anymore. But I do have a bunch of these other books. I got to sell them, make some money. Got a big car repair bill hit me. Lord, everything's $1 million anymore, except what I get paid. Moneyball. I saw the movie. Never saw the book on there. Gosh, I don't know. I'd have to. My mind just doesn't remember these things anymore. I'm actually going to be doing a historical podcast with somebody. It's their podcast, not mine. And we were talking about the 87 season. I had to look up a couple things. I was right, but I couldn't remember the exact numbers because 1987 was 37 years ago. So it's hard to remember these things. On there. All right, so I'm taking off next week. Maybe I'll be back the week after. It's off season. I want to be hit and miss. I know we've been doing it every week for a while, but Rick's got to take a break. And you guys got to make some more money because not too much for donations tonight, and I do that for this. So buy a book, if nothing else. Let me just finish by saying, go to PayPal, ricksnider99 at AOL.com, $15. I'll sign it and ship it to you. Can't beat that deal. And if you want to buy one of these instead, same deal, $15. Make sure you write down which book you want on there. All right, Steve, thank you so much. Steve has been every minute of every day except for one. It's Christmas with other families, but I can't beat Steve, man. He's watched it the whole time, first in, last out. Never give up. Kenny, thank you all. Thank you all for coming. I do appreciate it. Videos up in the morning, 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. most days. Tomorrow I'm talking about Antonio Gibson's free agent, should they sign him or not. Doing a lot of this and that. It's off season. It's going to be a little harder to do. But, Combine's coming up in about 10 days, whatever it is. So there's always something going on, Free agencies, March 11 to 13 beginning. That's the talk period or whatever they call it now. Legal tampering, whatever it's called. Next thing you know, it's a draft, and then, it's camps. And the next thing I know, it's 100 degrees, and I'm at training camp again. This will be my 50th training camp somewhere this summer. I'm nuts. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and I'll see you again soon.